can't be you, baby, but I'ma try. He was a PTP, baby. He was special. There's no doubt about it. The floaters, the J's, the drive to the basket, the herky-jerky moves, the key free throws when they counted, when Josh Hart couldn't make them. It didn't matter. The injuries to Bogdanovich, okay, he goes down. Mitchell Robinson doesn't play. Dante DiVincenzo was up for the first half, but he started hitting shots in the second half. But Thibodeau had to put him on the bench because he needed more defense. Jalen Brunson played like a superstar today. 47 points. They go into the conference finals like I told y'all. But first we get this series. I told you we're another round. Going up 3-1. I told you he was going up 3-1. And you'll see what happens. We close it out Tuesday night, Perk. At the Garden.
That was the greatest individual playoff performance in Knicks history.
Well,
and not better than Clyde Frazier in Game 7, but that's not the story.
I wasn't born there. I can see that. But I will say this. Let's give a lot of credit to OG Anunoby.
Excellent.
16 points, 14 rebounds,
elite defense,
and locked down Joel Embiid when it mattered the most. And Tom Thibodeau, that was the adjustment.
That's a heavyweight brawl.
Yep.
That game was something else. And then you can nitpick, and that's what you wind up doing when a game is that close and each play means that much. But Philadelphia had every chance to even this series up at home and didn't get it done. And Jalen Brunson is the difference. He's the best player with Joel Embiid not being able to physically play up to his MVP level. Jalen Brunson might even then be the best player in this series. Can they close it out? Can they close it out?
Can they?
They better.
Can they?
You don't want it to go any longer than it has to.
It's over Tuesday night. The Knicks closed the deal. It's an excellent series. It's obviously compelling.
Very entertaining.
Tyrese Maxey was the best point guard in the first 2 games. Jalen Brunson, last 2.
So his wizardry can take over. Look at the names and that he's in company with. Who would ever thunk it? Jalen Brunson, not the fastest, but you know what he is? He's smart. He's shifty, he knows how to play, and he's made big shots, and he's been experienced from his college days. What an unbelievable series. And anybody that says to me that college basketball is better, and I love college basketball, is better than the league, that game today will let you know what the NBA is all about.
Yeah, it was a chippy matchup. I think going into the fourth, we saw 10 lead changes, 10 different ties. It was really fun to watch. Let's talk about the other team. It was a messy third quarter for Philly. There was a lot of turnovers there, and there was a point in the fourth, I want to say it was about a 5-minute span, where they didn't score a single point. So if Philly wants to get back in this series, what needs to change for them?
The toughness factor, Jacqueline. Again, as I mentioned before, you can't allow them to continue to get offensive rebound, not giving you an opportunity to score. And I think Tyrese Maxey has to ramp it up a little bit. They got to try to get to him. I know they're trying to move the ball around and find different guys. And Batum has not knocked down those 3-point shots. And they got to get to the rim with a little more physicality. There was some key blocks as well by the New York Knicks. So the New York Knicks turning Philadelphia the way they played on its head, and they became the aggressor. And you see right there, 0 for 5 in the fourth quarter. If you want to beat a team who's the number 2 seed in the East, who had a great season with a great player like Jalen Brunson, that from the former MVP, I won't be the MVP this year, or the reigning MVP, cannot happen. Nick Nurse has got to figure this situation out, but you have to give it to the Knicks. They brought it. They came with physicality. They didn't worry about what happened in Game 3. And they actually took, Game 3, and they took this game. They took this game from Philadelphia because it looked like Philadelphia, the way the Knicks were shooting the basketball, had this game in hand, and it just did not happen. And you know what, the last thing I'll say is this. I don't know if it was a Knicks game or a Philadelphia game. There were so many Knicks fans there. Every time the Knicks did something, if I turned my head for a second, I said, did Philadelphia score? And it'd be the Knicks. I'm like, wow, I can't believe that in Philadelphia that would be allowed to happen.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Knicks fans. We also, of course, saw Don Staley, big 76ers fan, being shown in the crowd quite a few times, a legend there in Philly. I want to talk more about Joel Embiid because we know he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He just dropped 50 in Game 3, also dealing with a Bell's palsy diagnosis right now as well. Are you concerned at all for his longevity? Because we saw him grab that knee a couple of times, and I'm nervous watching that, right? Anytime he tweaks his knee, I'm like, oh gosh, what's going to go on with Joel? Are you concerned at all for his physicality to come back from this 3-1 deficit against this Knicks team?
I certainly am. It's going to be a 7-game series if Philadelphia has any chance of winning the game and winning the series. And at Philadelphia, they're going to have to continue to assert themselves. You got to go to New York now. That crowd is going to be nuts. They got a chance to clinch this series. And you got to ride Embiid. He is certainly capable. And there was no Mitchell Robinson out there today. And Hartenstein didn't get a foul in the first half and had 5 in the third quarter. So Precious Achiuwa had to play, and they just could not find a way. But the others, the Josh Harts, the Anunoby, they picked it up defensively against Joel Embiid. So Nick Nurse has got to figure out how do you get Joel Embiid in this game, because you see right there, they're coming with doubles. The other guys have got to make shots. Harris, you got Kelly Oubre, obviously, Kyle Lowry is a champion. He's been there before, but Batum, he was key in making threes. That has not happened. New York has made adjustments, but again, you asked me about the physicality, and can Joel Embiid shoulder the load going forward? If he doesn't, they can't win. They cannot win without Joel Embiid, and it's hard to say that for the next 3 games that he's going to be physical enough or he's going to have enough in the tank to get it done. It's going to be tough. I like the Knicks. I can't believe I'm saying this. You see behind me, I got Allen, I got Doctor, I got Wilt, and I got to go with the Knicks. I can't believe it.
Yeah, Chris, I just want to talk more about Philly here because, again, they have never won a best-of-7 series when they're down 3-1, and this is a franchise that is really looking to get over that hump and win a championship, and they might get bounced here in the first round. You said you like the Knicks. Just expand on that for us.
Listen, I'll say this, Jack. Very few teams, other than I think LeBron, has come back from 3-1. It's literally impossible to come back when they have you like that. And again, the Knicks are going to get 2 home games out of this, and that's the other thing. So the Knicks have 2 games to clinch this series, and when you're down 3-1, it's just literally tough to come back game after game. Now, again, you're talking about a team with the reigning MVP. The question is, do they have enough around them? And it's a 1-game series. I'm a big Laker fan. They're down to the Nuggets right now. You can say whatever you want. It's 1-game series. The next game on the schedule is the most important game on the schedule. You can't, sometimes when you're playing in games and you're down a bunch, you say, don't scoreboard watch, don't look at it. Right now, don't series watch. It's game after game, adjustment after adjustment. But again, NBA history has shown that teams are down 3-1. It's 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Jacqueline, they're gone.
Cancun or the golf course, whatever you like. Chris Walker joining us here on HQ for a game for a recap from the Knicks and the Sixers, where the Knicks now have a 3-1 series lead. Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate it. And of course, taking a look at the remaining series schedule, Game 5 heads to the Garden on Tuesday. Game 6, if necessary, will be in Philly. And then if it goes to a Game 7, that will be Saturday in New York. All right, Nick Nurse at the podium right now after the loss. New York leads the series 3-1. Let's take a listen.
Got his share, but Precious came in there and got 4 and probably got his hands on 2 or 3 more. Certainly became a big factor in the fourth.
I guess whether was there a moment in the second half where you were thinking about maybe getting Joel a little rest? What kind of playing on the second half?
Yeah, he was feeling good and wanted to go. So I think it's these games are all must win, and we didn't have a very good stretch when he was out in the first half, so we were willing to continue on.
To that point, Nick, I think both stretches this series where you played Joel and Brunson sat. Tonight they played you guys to a standstill. I think they might actually won the minutes in Game 2. I guess, why do you think you weren't able to capitalize Brunson on the bench?
Well, we didn't shoot the ball very well tonight. And I thought once we got a 10-point lead, I think we turned it over 3 of the next 4 possessions. We had really great rhythm going, and it's almost like we took ourselves out of rhythm with those turnovers. I mean, we were really rolling there, and then it got a little difficult to find rhythm, and then listen, we executed a lot of stuff that we were.
Out of the NBA, where Oklahoma City's Mark Daigneault has won Coach of the Year. He led the Thunder to the 1 seed in the Western Conference, winning 57 games this season. Daigneault is the second coach in franchise history to win the award alongside Scott Brooks back in 2010. He received 89 of a possible 99 first-place votes, beating out Minnesota's Chris Finch and Orlando's Jamal Mosley to win Coach of the Year. And from one Coach of the Year to another Coach of the Year, we welcome in CBS Sports NBA analyst Avery Johnson as we dive into what Mark Daigneault's been able to do with this Thunder team. And I think about it, getting that 1 seed in the West, only one of 2 teams to finish in the top 4 in both offense and defense. Looking at this unit, give me your reason. Why Mark Daigneault?
Outstanding job, especially with the youngest team in the NBA. He's developed a future perennial MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They do it on both ends of the floor. And give the Oklahoma City Thunder front office credit. They gave him time to evolve as a coach. And they got better and better and better. He was runner-up last year and now Coach of the Year this year. This team is well-balanced. Youngest coach to win Coach of the Year and be a #1 seed. This team has a bright future with an outstanding young head coach.
Bright future, young head coach, the youngest head coach to win this award since Doc Rivers did it during his debut season with the Magic back in the 1999-2000 season. Big things for this Thunder team who's still looking to keep their season alive and make their way to the finals.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a major key right there.
This just in, as we talk about the NBA playoffs, how about the Clippers and Mavs going back and forth? Kyrie Irving with the layup to give their team a lead, give Dallas a lead. They trailed by as many as 31 in this one. Paul George with the fadeaway 3. Right there, bang, taking the lead for the Clippers. Then James Harden looking to finish the job. No comeback necessary in this one. The Clippers maintain this one and go on to win this one by 5 over the Mavs, tying the series up at 2 apiece. Kyrie putting up 40 points in this one, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. The Clippers with the duo with 30-point performances, Harden with 33, Paul George with 33. This was one that it looked like it was going in the favor of the Clippers, but meanwhile, holding Paul George to 2 points in the third quarter, the Mavs let this one slip through their fingers, falling to the Clippers, 116-111. We're here with CBS Sports NBA analyst and former Coach of the Year, Avery Johnson, on the heels of this matchup. And Avery, I know you are looking at your history. You're a big Mavs guy. So before we get into the minutia of this game, I just want you to take me step by step, quarter by quarter, just your emotions during this game, because when you're trailing by 31, it can't feel good, right?
Well, not only that, when you only score 12 points in the first quarter, it doesn't feel good. And when Paul George goes off for 26 in the first half, it doesn't feel good. And you look up, you're down 31 in that second quarter. And then the Mavericks made a little bit of a run to cut into that lead going into halftime. And I think that gave the Mavericks some momentum going into the third quarter, where Kyrie Irving just went off, basically put the Mavericks on his shoulders and continued to cut into that deficit. And then at the end really gave the Mavericks a 1-point lead there in the fourth quarter. But give the Clippers credit, they were prolific from the three-point line. Whenever you shoot 62% from the three-point line and over 50% from the field, they didn't turn it over much. They lost a rebound game. But give the Clippers credit. They took a lot of energy for the Mavericks to get back in that game when you're down by 31 points. But in the end, James Harden said, "Do you remember my name? Say my name, say my name." James Harden was unbelievable with all of those floaters there at the end of the game. And I didn't see an adjustment by the Dallas Mavericks by inserting Lively or Gafford back into the lineup to slow James Harden down, because Dallas Mavericks had no interior defense there at the end of that game when James Harden scored 4 or 5 floaters in a row.
Yeah, Mavs took the lead with 3 minutes remaining in this one, but this was tied for the largest playoff comeback in NBA history. But you gave us a little bit. You talked about James Harden saying, "Say my name." But what ultimately won this for the Clippers? Because when you're up by 31, this is one that you should be easily able to close out, but they weren't able to. But down that stretch, Mavs taking that lead with 3 minutes left. What won it for LA?
Well, it was definitely James Harden. The way he took over this offense at the end. You know, Paul George started the party. James Harden finished the party on the road at the American Airlines Center. And then also the Clippers bench. They sneakily outscored the Mavericks bench by 10, 22-12. And, you know, that timely three-point shooting from their bench was also critical. And then, unfortunately for the Mavericks, Luka Doncic got 3 fouls early in the game, so he wasn't him same self. He struggled from the three-point line. He made a timely 3 there in the fourth quarter, but he was 1 for 9 from 3. But when you look at the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, that's another thing that I think won this game for the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard not in the lineup. They're 2-0 when he doesn't touch the floor. They just seem like a different team offensively without Kawhi Leonard in the lineup, who sometimes they try to force feed the basketball to.
All right, so I have a question that I want to split into 2 for you. You talk about what Harden was able to do on the floor, but I also feel like we can't discount the performance that we also saw from Kyrie Irving, putting up 40 in this one. Looking at both Harden and looking at Kyrie, who impressed you most on the floor in this game? And then also, what are you looking forward to, and what do you expect out of this next game in the series?
Well, I would start with Kyrie because he was scoreless, Kiana, in the first quarter. So he had 40 points over the next 3 quarters. That's significantly impressive. But at the end of the day, it's all about what have you done for me lately. James Harden put this team on his shoulders late in the game and won this game for the Los Angeles Clippers. Unfortunately, Kyrie couldn't get enough shots there down the stretch to lead the Mavericks to victory. And then what adjustments is Jason Kidd going to make going into Game 5? I know Maxi Kleber made a 3-point shot from that right corner, but defensively, his best 2 defenders were on the bench. They had no last line of defense. So what about subbing offense, defense at the end of the game? We'll see what type of adjustments. Ty Lue made his adjustments by giving Paul George, force-feeding him the ball early in the game. Let's see what happens with Jason Kidd.
Oh, it's going to be quite a battle. This has been one very interesting series. 2 teams that I feel like are equally matched, and it has been quite a game and a series to watch. Game 5 rather, Wednesday. That's back in LA. Clippers looking to maybe this time maintain a lead, but I don't think the Mavs are going to go down without a fight. Avery, we appreciate the insight as always. And speaking of playoff